good morning, or whatever passes for morning here. You must be my new captain. Welcome to Fowler's Gate, the best-kept secret in Povia. Do keep your voice down. There is no safe place inside the city walls, so we must be able to hear approaching feet. Aside from that, relax. Have some wine if you like. Ah, from your disapproving eyes and your disciplined posture, I imagine you only recently received your commission. No, say nothing. Allow me. You earned your rank through exceptional bravery and skill at arms in the capital, but you are not nobility and so cannot be knighted except under extraordinary circumstances. But as luck would have it, my apologies, not luck, of course, but rather masterful perception and skill, yes? You discovered the treasonous lies Lord Dern has been fomenting among the nobles in the West. You reported your findings to Sir Christopher, and so impressed him that you were promised a knighthood once Lord Dern's treachery had been brought to light. In the meantime, however, the apostate would surely attempt to silence you, and so you were advised by Sir Christopher to come here, where Dern has no influence. What can I say, but that your reputation precedes you? Only two kinds of people come to Fowler's Gate, Captain. Ideologues, and those who need to disappear. You are obviously no criminal, for while you have noticed every exit since walking into this room, and you have most assuredly memorized the position and armaments of each of the guards, you have not once so much as glanced down at the bag of silver that I have left so carelessly on the table between us. Undoubtedly, you have heard of the impossible levels of crime and corruption in this city, and you have come full of fire and justice to set things right. That speaks to me of great conviction, cleaving to the ideals of service to king and country. It also speaks of great arrogance, Captain, a trait that will not serve you well here. You believe that you have all the answers, and that if we would just stop and listen, you could lead us back to the path of righteousness. Do you think you are the first to imagine they can turn this pit into the jewel of Povia? That if we would all simply enforce the king's word, that the thieves and the murderers, the Sillimancers and the Scions, the scum of every race that collects in the dark corners of a city made of shadows and despair, will simply hang their heads and say to you, mercy? Certainly King Algeus could, if he chose, send a large enough army to tear down these walls, drive its inhabitants into the eternal bog, and reclaim the city for the throne. But he won't. Just as King Trapire before him never did, and just as no king or queen of Povia ever will. During your military training at the capital, were you ever inspected? Of course you were. And unless they have made dramatic changes in the last decade, You were certainly inspected at least once, in the middle of washing your uniforms. And you most likely did exactly what everyone else does. You jammed the lot in your footlocker so that you could present the most professional appearance to all eyes. Fowler's Gate is Povia's footlocker, Captain. This is the place the Crown shoves its dirty laundry, so that our neighbors see only the kingdom we want them to. It engenders respect, and causes our enemies to doubt their own convictions. The Crown will not only never retake this lawless cesspool, it will never allow the city to become anything other than what it is. Besides, where would you even start? There are no thieves' guilds to raid, no burrows of assassins to uncover. Death walks these streets head high. The thieves and murderers hide only from each other and from the horrors of the eternal bog. They didn't tell you. There are tribes of lizard folk living in the bog. They mostly war upon each other, but occasionally a few will sneak into the city to hunt. But they are not even the true menace of the bog. Centuries ago, a powerful sorcerer of Saren claimed the entire swamp as his own. Thousands came to worship the dark god there, and their numbers began to spill up out of the swamp and into the green fields of Povia. High Rock Fort was built in part to serve as a lookout over the bog. But then, one day, it all simply stopped. Nobody knows what happened to the necromancer. Though his minions still wander the endless swamp, he may still be there too, himself now undead. None have been able to find his lair, or at least none have returned who went in search of it. But every few years, an army of the dead approaches from the southeast. We turn them back, but the losses belong to us alone. Their dead, and ours alike, simply rise up and wander back into the swamp. Nothing stays dead in Fowler's Gate, Captain. So if you had any illusions regarding the proper funerary arrangements following your demise, please put them to rest. Your body will, like all the others, be tossed out of the nearest gate, in the hopes that the reptiles will devour you before you rise again. You are welcome to follow whatever personal code you see fit, Captain. I am certainly not one to stand in the way of another's morality. I would hate to get any of it on me. Right. At any rate, you're welcome to stay in the compound if you wish. The first month is free. After that, it will be 8 copper per week, and you must provide your own food. You can work in the distillery to cover your rent if you wish. Your commission? Surely you're not serious. Captain, I apologize for not making myself more clear. There is no commission at Fowler's Gate. Sir Christopher promised you, I know, but Sir Christopher is Lord Dern's man. You found the clues they wanted you to find, and when you sought justice, rather than easy silver, they convinced you that for your own safety, you needed to come here. As I said, preceded you. You are not the first to be shuffled off to this prison under those pretenses, and you are not likely to be the last. There is no treason, or at least not from Lord Dern. It was a test, Captain, and one that you failed in a most spectacular fashion. Povia is at war, with Octavia and with the Detch. We cannot afford to have our leaders being investigated by overzealous young troops trying to earn their knighthood. The king's spies do that, and you are no spy. You'd have done better to attack Lord Dern on sight. You're here for life now, I'm afraid. The troops at High Rock are under orders to shoot absolutely anything coming north. And the only things waiting for you in the bog are zombies, disease, and lizards. My advice is to make the best of it. Relax, find your passion, indulge some vices, or take some up if you don't have any yet. Or you could be foolish, try your luck on the North Road, or head out into the Eternal Bog to find the Necromancer. It's up to you now. Just remember, Captain, Fowler's Gate is never safe, and nothing you do in those streets is going to make the slightest dent in that. Fight if it pleases you, but do it for yourself. Because king and country, well, they've already forgotten you. Goodbye, Captain. The wine is on the table if you'd like some.